Ciao and welcome to your very first real taste of the Italian language. My name is Carlo Piazza and I'm so excited to be your guide today as you take this huge, incredible first step. Today is not about memorizing a dictionary, it's about building a foundation. I'm going to give you the essential keys that unlock a huge portion of the Italian language. In the next few minutes, you'll learn more practical, usable Italian than most people learn in weeks of using those little app games. We are going to cover 4 fundamental building blocks. First, the definite articles, the small but mighty words like the. Second, the verb essere, the verb to be, which is all about identity and description. Third, the verb avere, the verb to have, which is crucial for expressing possession and feelings. Fourth, the 3 verb families, a simple introduction to the are, ere, and ire verbs that form the backbone of Italian action words. My promise to you is that by the end of this short lesson, you'll be able to form real grammatically correct sentences in Italian. You'll feel a sense of accomplishment and, more importantly, a sense of what's possible. All right, first thing first. In English, we have one word for the. Simple, right? Well, Italian is a bit more stylish. It has several ways to say the, and these are called definite articles. Why? Because Italian is a gendered language. Every noun is either masculine or feminine, and the article you use has to agree with the noun's gender and number, singular or plural. This might sound complicated, but it follows a very clear pattern. Think of it like choosing the right key for the right lock. Let's break it down. For masculine nouns, we have il. Use this before most masculine nouns starting with a consonant. For example, il libro means the book. The plural is i libri, which means the books. Lo. Use this before masculine nouns starting with S plus consonant, Z, GN, PS, or Y. These are kind of special consonant groups. For example, lo studente means the student. The plural is gli studenti, which means the students. L with apostrophe, use this before masculine nouns starting with a vowel. For example, l'amico means the friend. The plural is gli amici, which means the friends. Notice how the plural is always I or gli. The rule is simple. If the singular is il, the plural is I. If the singular is lo or L with apostrophe, the plural is gli. Let's practice. The word for boy is ragazzo. It starts with R, a consonant. So it's il ragazzo. The plural, I ragazzi. The word for uncle is zio. It starts with Z. Is it a special consonant? I think so. So we use lo zio. The plural, gli zii. You see, it's a system, a beautiful logical system. Let's switch now into the feminine ones. Feminine nouns are even simpler. We only have 2 main keys. La, use this before all feminine nouns starting with a consonant. For example, la casa, it means the house. The plural is le case, which means the houses. L with apostrophe, use this before all feminine nouns starting with a vowel. For example, l'amica, it means the friend. The plural is le amiche, which means the friends. That's it. For feminine nouns, the plural is always le. So simple. Let's try it. The word for girl is ragazza. It starts with R. So it's la ragazza. The plural, le ragazze. The word for island is isola. It starts with a vowel, so it's l'isola. The plural, le isole. You've just learned one of the most fundamental rules of Italian grammar. You can now correctly say the in front of any noun in the language. How amazing is that? You're already building sentences. Fantastic! Now that you have the keys, let's open our first door, the verb essere, which means to be. This is one of the two most important verbs in Italian. We use it to talk about who we are, what we are, where we are from, our identity, la nostra identità. Just like in English where we say I am, you are, he is, the verb essere is irregular. You just have to learn its forms, but they are used so often that they become second nature very quickly. Here are the present tense forms of essere. Io sono, I am. For example, io sono Carlo. It means I'm Carlo. Tu sei, you are informal. For example, tu sei intelligente means you are intelligent. Lui or lei è. He or she is. For example, lui è italiano. It means he's Italian. Noi siamo, we are. For example, noi siamo a Roma means we are in Rome. Be careful, I'm saying a Roma, not in Roma. Noi siamo a Roma. Voi siete, you are plural. For example, voi siete pronti means are you ready? Loro sono, they are. For example, loro sono studenti means they are students. Notice that io sono, I am, and loro sono, they are, use the same verb form, sono. How do you know the difference? Context. It's always clear from the rest of the sentence. Let's combine what we've learned. How would you say the boy is tall? The word alto means tall. 3, 2, 1. The boy is il ragazzo, is è, so il ragazzo è alto. How about the girls are friends? The word amiche means friends, female. The girls is le ragazze, are is sono, so 3, 2, 1. Le ragazze sono amiche. Look at that! You're forming complete, meaningful sentences in Italian. You are describing the word. This is a huge milestone. Fantastic! Let's move on to our second superstar verb, avere, which means to have. We use this all the time to talk about what we possess, our age, careful, the age also uses avere, and even certain feelings like hunger or thirst. Like essere, avere is also irregular, and it's just as important. Learning these two verbs together is like getting a superpower for Italian conversation. Here are the present tense forms of avere. Io ho, I have. For example, io ho un libro, it means I have a book. Tu hai, you have, informal. For example, tu hai una domanda, it means you have a question. Lui or lei ha, he or she has. For example, lei ha una casa bella, it means she has a beautiful house. Noi abbiamo, we have. For example, noi abbiamo fame means we are hungry. Literally, we have hunger. Voi avete, you have, plural. For example, voi avete sete means are you thirsty? Literally, do you have thirst? Loro hanno, they have. For example, loro hanno due macchine. It means they have 2 cars. Important pronunciation tip. In Italian, the letter H is silent. So, O, I, A, anno, they are pronounced like this. O, I, A, anno. It's a common beginner mistake to pronounce the H, but now you know the secret. Let's make some sentences. How would you say I have a friend, a male friend? I have is io ho, a friend is un amico. So, 3, 2, 1, io ho un amico. How about they have a house? They have is loro hanno, a house is una casa. So, 3, 2, 1, loro hanno una casa. In just a few minutes, you've mastered the 2 most powerful verbs in the entire language. You can now say who you are, what you have. The possibilities are already becoming endless. Okay, are you ready to unlock basically all the other verbs? While essere and avere are irregular, most Italian verbs are regular. They follow a predictable pattern, like a dance with set steps. They fall into 3 families, distinguished by the last 3 letters of their infinitive form, the to do something form. These families are are, ere, and ire. To use these verbs, you do 2 things. First, drop the ending. Are, ere, ire. You drop it. Second, add the correct new ending based on who is doing the action. Let's see it in action. The are family. This is the biggest and most common family. Let's use the verb parlare, which means to speak. First, we drop the are ending. We are left with parle, from parlare to parle. Now we add the correct ending for each person. Io parlo, tu parli, lui, lei parla, noi parliamo, voi parlate, loro parlano. So to say we speak Italian, you would say noi parliamo italiano. Simple. Other common are verbs include amare, to love, cantare, to sing, mangiare, to eat, camminare, to walk, lavorare, to work, and giocare, to play. The ere family, the second family, the pattern is very similar. Let's use the verb prendere, which means to take. First, we drop the ere ending. We're left with prend, from prendere to prend. Now we add the correct ending for each person. Io prendo, tu prendi, lui, lei prende, noi prendiamo, voi prendete, loro prendono. He takes the book, lui prende il libro. See how we combine the verb with the article we learned earlier? Other common ere verbs include leggere, to read, scrivere, to write, vendere, to sell, credere, to believe, and vivere, to live. The ire family, our third family, again, very similar pattern. Let's use the verb dormire, which means to sleep. First, we drop the ire ending. We are left with dorm. Now we add the correct ending for each person. Io dormo, tu dormi, lui, lei dorme. Noi dormiamo, voi dormite, loro dormono. They sleep, loro dormono. Other common ire verbs include aprire, to open, partire, to leave, sentire, to feel or to hear, and finire, to finish. There is a subgroup of ire verbs that adds an isk to some forms, such as capire. You would say io capisco. But for today, just knowing this main pattern is a massive leap forward. You now have the formula to conjugate thousands of Italian verbs. Let's just pause for a moment and look at what you've accomplished. In just a few minutes, you have learned how to use definite articles, how to express identity with essere, how to talk about possession with avere, and you've unlocked the formula for thousands of Italian verbs. You can now build sentences like io parlo italiano, I speak Italian, lei prende il libro, she takes the book, noi abbiamo una casa, we have a house, loro sono studenti, they are students. This is not just theory, this is real practical communication. You've built a solid foundation, the very same foundation that every fluent Italian speaker has. Do you feel that? This is the feeling of progress. This is the feeling of your dream getting closer. But this, of course, is just the beginning. This is the key, but there is a whole beautiful house to explore. Imagine being able to tell stories, to talk about your past, to make plans for the future. Imagine understanding jokes, song lyrics, and movie dialogues. Imagine the confidence of navigating any situation, from the market to the train station, completely in Italiano. That is what the next step is all about. If you felt that spark today, if you felt that excitement of understanding and being understood, then I invite you to continue this journey with Piazza Square Italiano. In our complete program, we take this foundation and we build upon it brick by brick with multiple conversation classes each week, with your private professors, and so much more. If you've been pushing back learning Italian for a long time and now you are seriously committed and convinced that this is the right moment to actually get started, you can click the link below and we talk later. Ciao ragazzi, un piacere!